slash, slash, slash! And then there's also cannons, astral bombardments, flying balls, looking at you, Ari and Syndra, tornadoes, and lasers. You could say this comp is flashy, and anyone in their right mind would readily agree. Seeing that mana bar fill up and knowing that all hell will break loose is amazing. Hey everyone, and welcome to another ProGuides TFT video. Today, we're going to be talking about patch 10.12 Sorcerer comp. The main points we'll go over is the playstyle depending on early, mid, and late game, positioning, items, and general tips and tricks that can make the difference when playing the comp. Make sure to use this comp as it is currently extremely strong and flexible, easily able to net you a lot of LP. Before we dive in, I just want to let you guys know that we have a Discord community and a new subreddit that is growing really fast. We have you to thank for that, and we want to continue building our community and helping you to be a part of it, so make sure you check the link in the description below. Early game. In the early game, you're looking for a basic comp of frontline and backline. Your frontline will usually be either brawlers or vanguards, with a preference to vanguards since they have earlier strong skills that synergize with the sorcerer buff. Specifically, you should be looking for Poppy and Jace or Mord. Jace or Poppy are extremely good Riven or GP item carriers, with Poppy also being a Star Guardian, which helps a little bit when Ari and Zoe or even Syndra are on the field. During the whole of second stage, you want to try to win streak, so you usually level up on 2-1 or 2-2. A 2-star Poppy early with items can help you snowball very fast, since she provides an excellent tank for your sorcerers to hide behind and cause havoc. The best early sorcerers are Ari and Twisted Fate, unless you get a lucky Syndra as well. Zoe's value goes up as the game progresses, as her CC can prove invaluable. Level up to 5 on 2-5 or 2-6 to maintain the win streak you hopefully have, or create one before you go into Crumbz. Your 5 units should be 2 vanguards, 2 sorcerers, and the 5th can be one that gives you an extra synergy. If you have a Jace, a Darius or a Graves are really good. If you have Mord, you can use Jarvan, and if you use TF, you can insert Caitlyn for her really useful ult. Try to mix and match, making your strongest board possible at that point. As for items, we will discuss each carousel thoroughly later in the video, don't worry. Mid-game. After Crumbz, hopefully you've completed some core items and your comp is looking strong. If you're losing, it's fine. The items you get now should be able to boost you enough to win some matches due to the inherent power of the sorcerer buff. This becomes even more apparent since at 3-2, you should level most of the time. It only takes 12 gold and it is definitely worth the interest loss since you'll be able to add that 4th sorcerer, resulting in a very big power spike. If you've hit an early Riven, this is even better. Now is the time to add her to the mix. You should probably not add her before this, as she may die too early without at least the 4 sorcerers spell power buff and some items. Throughout Stage 3, there are a couple of ways to play the comp, depending on your win-loss situation. If you're winning, you should play the power level playstyle and aim to go to level 7 by 3-5 or 3-6. It might seem a bit too aggressive, but maintaining HP is really important in order to consistently win with this build, since there's a small power trough until you hit your 5-cost 2 stars sometimes. If you're losing, you play a similar playstyle, but you should sacrifice econ for a few rolls to 2-star a few of your support units, namely the sorcerers like Ari and Syndra. Do not underestimate the power spike when they are 2-star, as they might have been the difference between you losing so far instead of winning round. When at level 7, you have a choice to roll down after infiltrators to get 2-star Riven and perhaps a lucky GP or Xerath. It is a viable strategy, but a bit risky. It is advised when heavily contested, meaning that at least 2 other people are looking for 2-star Riven. A lot of comps play her like Cybers and BladeMasters, so be careful and scout. Your other choice, and the preferable one, is to continue playing power level and going to level 8, where the late game begins. Late game. This is where the fun begins. You should have leveled to 8 at 4-3 or 4-5 at the latest if you're losing. Usually, unless you've been quite lucky with your shops, you should roll down to 30 or 20 gold to find a 2-star Riven, a GP, and or a Xerath. This roll down usually determines the multiple flex paths you can take with this comp. If you find multiple Xeraths, you can focus on getting items on him and try to find a Janna instead of a GP, then just play the comp at level 8. Janna is extremely strong in that she powers up your Star Guardians and buffs Xerath's attack speed, thus greatly increasing his damage. If you find multiple GPs, then you can still go for the Xerath plan and have GP as added damage. If you, however, find both, there's another route for you. You can remove your Riven from play. Yes, I know, it hurts me too every time. And give her items to GP, then focus on Xerath and Janna. Only do this after you find a Janna as well. This move is a bit risky at the beginning, but it gives the comp a higher ceiling. It's much easier to pull off when you're level 9, however, since you have much better chances to go for 2-star 5-cost units. If you are at level 9, you can also add Thresh and pull in Urgots from the bench to put the final nail in your enemy's coffins. So that's pretty much the playstyle. Let's look into positioning a little bit. Positioning! This comp has 2 basic positioning patterns, one for the early game and one for the rest of the game. Essentially, at the early game, you play a standard frontline-backline comp, and then when you find Riven, you will play a Riven solo frontline, adding GP later. This happens because, like GP, Riven's targeting paradigm is on the units she's hitting, so her AoE will hit the most if she's up front. Her mana will also fill up faster when she's hit, so she'll get her shield up faster as well. This is how the comp should position like in the early game. Be careful of infiltrators, and after scouting, switch to a full backline positioning if you see too many Zeds or Nocturnes in the lobby. In the mid-game onwards, the comp should be positioned like this. Annie is quite tanky now, so since she usually carries Xerath items as well, she's not a bad frontline support unit with her shield. In the endgame, the comp should look like this, swapping frontline Riven for a backline Thresh if you went that route. If you have Quicksilver on Xerath, you can corner him as well, though it will make it harder for Janna Tornadoes to hit him. Items. The itemization for this comp is really easy. At the first carousel, you want to start with a Rod, Chain Vest, BF Sword, or Negatron Cloak in that order. In an optimal situation, you need 3 or 4 rods, so getting one off the first carousel is almost always a good play. A key item to the comp is Guardian Angel, both for Riven and Gangplank. If you can make 2 of them, even better. If you don't have a Guardian Angel, it's quite tough to even top 4 with this comp, unless you at least have Quicksilver on Riven. The best item to start the game with is Ionic Spark though. The early Vanguards use it extremely well, especially Jace, and you'll be able to win streak a lot and save HP. It is still a GP/Riven core item, and it lets your sorcerers nuke the front line harder since it lowers magic resist. The third item on Riven or GP is Flexible, with Rabadon's Death Cap being the best, followed by Luden's or Morellonomicon. Instead of making Ionic Spark, making 2 Rabadons is also extremely strong, but the need for GA is even stronger then. Quicksilver and Gwynsu's are strong Xerath items, and if you're getting too many tiers, instead of making blue buff, try to make Chalice of Power. The item is extremely strong on Janna, especially if she has 2 of them. She will buff Victor and Xerath as well as cast much faster, providing that much needed CC. At every carousel, besides the first one, you should have a clear goal towards making the items we just listed. The priority in making them is Guardian Angel and Ionic Spark are equal, then Rabadon's, Morello, Quicksilver, Chalice of Power, and Gwynsu's. Victor is a pretty good Thief's Glove user as well. Tips and tricks! Now let's see some tips and tricks that can help you with transitioning the comp to a top finish. Early Riven is not always the play. Don't get baited by instantly including a Riven to replace your 2-star Jace who's carrying her items. If you're still winning, ride that Jace until you scout and see that your board is getting weaker in comparison to the lobby. Always try to go to 9, not necessarily by slow leveling. When you're at about 30 XP to level, you should go all in and roll down to find your units. If you don't, your shops will still be much stronger than level 8. This is a snowball comp. You should always aim to win streak, especially after your spikes of 4 Sorcerer and 6 Sorcerer at level 6 and 7. Do not underestimate the power of Xerath, even at 1-star. The unit is a win condition with items at 2-star, but even at 1-star with a couple of items, he can provide with a really big power spike. When at Nicoverse, 2-starring Riven instantly is strong, but if you're winning, it's better to save them for Xerath and GP. The optimal play would be to use 1 Nico for each, after you have their pairs for an instant huge power spike. Are you a Riven player? Share your experience and knowledge with us in the comments, helping others play this comp. As always, feedback is appreciated, so hit us in the comments. If you like this video, hit the like and subscribe button, and we will see you guys on the next one.